Hello everyone and welcome back to our mommy chat. Last week we talked about tools that you need for breastfeeding and ABC of breastfeeding. So if you've not checked out that video, please go and check out our previous breastfeeding series. We have some videos behind.
Yeah,
so
check them out.
Please check it out. And today we're going to be talking about weaning. So process of weaning, what we can do, what we're going to give our babies instead of all these other times that we breastfeed, what do we replace with, and the process of preparing yourself for weaning and also preparing your baby for weaning. So stay tuned. So weaning now, what is weaning? What's the process? How? When? What's weaning?
Okay, so before we get to weaning, so we assume that you've breastfed your baby exclusively for at least 6 months, and right about by the end of the 5th month, you have started introducing soft food, to the baby. And when we mean soft food, we don't mean that you necessarily have to give your baby cereals, or the known brands. You can start from the food coming from your table.
Yes.
Remember that your baby already has a taste of the food that you eat in the breast milk, so it won't be overly strange. What the baby needs is to start with soft food. So for instance, you make yam. The yam has to be very soft. You can mash it for the baby. You can add oil. You can add blended crayfish, mash it, give the baby a little at a time while you're still breastfeeding. I mean, you can even, express and put the milk, yes, and put it and use it, you can use it to mash the yam. Please start with soft food. Let the consistency let it be easy. The aim is to allow the child to digest the food easily, because the child has been used to food and it's a day at a time. Don't be in a hurry, be patient.
Be patient.
Yes, because it's taking, we don't really, adults don't really react positively to change in the first instance. So the baby if you just left the baby, some babies will probably take breast milk, will continue to take breast milk for a long time, like my daughter. But so please start gradually and be patient and start with soft meals. Another thing, even rice, if you're going to give your baby rice, make sure the food is very soft. Some will blend, right? But I never had to blend. So it depends on the baby. If the baby is, taking too much time to adjust, you can blend. But then that takes you through another journey, from blending. If it works for you, by all means, please blend. Swallow. For me, I used to use swallow a lot. All my kids enjoyed swallow. They enjoyed swallow from amala. Amala is very soft. You can start with amala, semo, eba. But just make sure that the soup you're using is draw soup. That would aid swallowing as well. So you can do with ewedu, well blended ewedu, or okra, or ogbono. Make sure you put crayfish there. Some people will say, they say we should not put salt in the soup at all. Please, I feel that would be bland for the child. A little moderation is key. A little, yes, very little salt. And then crayfish. Crayfish already has salt as well from the preservation process. So make sure that the crayfish is blended, and then you put it in. You can add a little oil as well. All those things, little by little. You can give them bananas, soft ones, mash. Some of these fruits you can blend them together, smoothie, give them. So let's start gradually, and then before you know it, the teeth, by now the teeth would have started showing up. They'll start chewing. Some would even already chew with their gum. So that is it. And then let's not forget the 6 classes of food. make sure that their food is balanced. Don't pump them with ogi and ogi baba. I know ogi baba is healthy, but it's not the only food. Please balance it. So some parents will give ogi morning, afternoon, night with milk. No. The child needs other meals as well. Even if ogi baba has everything, if you were to eat rice morning, afternoon, night, even if that's what you like the best, I mean, you'll get tired of it. And then sometimes you say, the child is refusing to eat. The child is not taking well the food well. So please know how to tailor, how to make it interesting and inviting for the child as well. And then if the child, if you've tried a certain food and the child has refused to eat it, take it aside and introduce it sometime later. They may just not be ready at that time, and then at a later time they will. So knowing that the child is well established in feeding before you before you start considering weaning from breast milk. If you can, it is advisable to continue to breastfeed till the child is at least 2 years, if you can. But we know that for some mothers it's not possible. But for mothers who can, please don't be ashamed or be, because sometimes they say, this big baby is still breastfeeding. Please, it's your baby, and you want the best for the baby. So if you can, please continue. I remember we said that the constituents of the milk, it changes as the baby, yes, as the baby grows. So what the child is getting at 20 months is different from what the child is getting at 6 months or at 3 months. So please persist, until then. And another thing we've talked about, so we've talked about just being consistent with feeding and establishing that the baby is feeding well before you consider weaning. And then if you know that you have to go back to work, it shouldn't be at that week, the week before you are going back to work, that you should start weaning the baby. Start a month or 6 weeks before. And you also have to prepare your child. So as you are preparing, you prepare your child, you inform your child, oh sweetie, you may think that they don't understand, but tell them anyway and keep saying it. You're soon going to stop breastfeeding, you're soon going to, because a lot of babies are attached to the breast. It's not just for the food that they get from it, it's also comforting for them. It's comforting, and and then they hear your heartbeats. Some of them can't sleep until the nurse. Sometimes it's the soothing sound of your heartbeats that brings them to you, because that's what they've been hearing when they were in the womb. So sometimes it's not just about the food. So it can be an emotional journey for the child as well. So prepare the child emotionally, and then do it gradually. So if during the day you feed about 8 times, now that the baby has started feeding, or you reduced it to 6 times, be conscious of how many times it is during the day. Because if you're not counting, you would probably not know. But once you are planning to wean, that is to take the child off.
Start planning
consciously. And so if the baby would normally feed 8 times a day, you may first start reducing it to 6, then to 5, and then probably to only at night. And then when the baby wants, no, sweetheart, you're going to eat now. No, we are stopping. And then you take it to just at night. And then you may continue at night for a couple of days. And as time goes on, you begin to alternate it. Or don't just abruptly stop the baby. A lot of people stop abruptly. And it also, apart from the psychological, the emotional effect it has on the child, it also affects the mother, because the body needs to prepare for you stopping, because else you'd have engorged breast, and that's a whole kettle of fish, because the pain of an engorged breast is. So you want to start gradually. For my kids, that's what I did. And in fact, 2 weeks, we've not breastfed, and my breasts are okay. Do you understand? And then before you know it, we're done breastfeeding. This baby you've succeeded in weaning the baby up, and that's the best way to go. However, if you have to do it abruptly for one reason or the other, it's still okay. There are things that the mother can do to ease the pain. But it's always best to start gradually, purposefully, and to plan?
I did abruptly, but it wasn't really abruptly as well. But I reduced the number of feeding, and because I actually wanted him to be away for like a week with his grandmom and his cousin, so that they can play. So I was like, okay, fine, let him go. But I suffered for it but if he was around, I noticed that even if he was around, I would have still given in to the breastfeeding. I probably wouldn't have been as strict to say, oh no,
yes.
And I think that's what some people might fear as well, that if they don't do it abruptly, they will still continue, because it's very easy when a child is crying, just carry the child, give the child the breast, and automatically the child has just stopped crying. You don't have to overly comfort.
That's why we said you have to be purposeful about it, because eventually, so there are times where you will give in, but for the most part, you won't. That time that you have given in, it won't change much. And eventually, before you know it, so this is my own experience. In fact, for my daughter, I said we've stopped like twice now, But the reason why we started, the last time we had gone off it for close to 3 weeks or a month, but because she fell ill and terribly ill, and she really, really wanted some comfort. And I didn't, in fact, when I gave her the breast, I didn't expect that it would flow. But it flowed. and very well so. So that was very surprising for me. I didn't expect that after that, time lapse and the hormonal changes, that it would flow, but it did. So, but for that, I would have been home dry. And then for her siblings, that was what I was able to do, and it worked. So sometimes we feel, if I don't do, because then I know I heard about, doing it abruptly, just take the baby away or just travel and, for a while. And then by the time you come back, the baby will forget. Yes, the baby will forget, but the baby would have been traumatized one way or the other. And you would have been.
Because what I did was, there are different ways that they tell you that you can actually alleviate the pain from, you'll tell you use painkillers, use cabbage, cold cabbage, and that one really, really helped. That one really helped. But
and I believe the cold cabbage also works with sore nipples as well.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, we didn't mention that.
So I use the cold cabbage, and I try to take a bath like frequently for not so hot water, but a bit warm water. And it really, really helped. So I think that helped me. And after like about a week, by the time it was back, for 3 days, and trust me, those 3 days of that pain, you feel like 2 weeks. Because it's like you can't do anything else, and your mind is just like,
oh my breast,
this pain. But like after like 3 days, it reduced drastically. Like 3 days of using the cabbage, taking baths, and I used only the painkiller just the first day, and I pumped the first day.
You have to
so I pumped the first day, because I was like, no, I can't. So I pumped some of the milk out to reduce the engorgement. It was very bad.
And then it's important that you actually pump it out, because it can also cause problems. It can block the ducts, and it can also cause mastitis, which you don't want to happen. So if you have to pump to relieve yourself, please by all means go ahead.
So
and
the pumping would make
the baby suckling,
and it's reduced. So as you don't continue pump, maybe you pump twice the first day, you pump once the second day, then you
begins to reduce.
Then you stop pumping. So by the week, at the end of the week, you definitely be back to normal. The milk will not stop flowing, but you won't be engorged.
Yeah, right.
You won't be engorged. So that's what helped me, and naturally that's what really helps. So what else?
I think we've exhausted it, and then you're going to miss it. It sounds ridiculous, but I remember before my daughter turned 1, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait for 18 months. At first, 18 months was like, I can't wait to stop. Oh, when am I going to stop? Oh my goodness, when am I going to stop? And then when she was 18 months, I really didn't care. I was like, no, let her just continue for as long as she was. But she's taking longer than I thought. And a part of me, and so when I was planning to wean her off, I was a bit sentimental in my mind, like, we're going to start breastfeeding. Well, the truth is, I couldn't wait to just have my body back and just like have my body back. But then, I was still going to miss having her suckle on my breast, having us bond like that. For each of my children, bond like that. And so you would also miss it. So prepare yourself emotionally, for that. For that period.
So that's it about weaning. The key thing is soft food. Introduce it early. Start early. From 6 months or from 5 months, before 6 months, you can start introducing the soft foods in consistency for the age of your baby.
Yes.
So the consistency for 5 months cannot be the same as
that
the one
for
for
8 months.
8 months or 11 months. So introduce it early, start early, and start giving the fruits early. And you have to be purposeful. So know how many times you feed during the day and start reducing it consciously.
Yes.
So that the baby is prepared and you also are prepared for it. So you are not traumatizing the child.
And we should remember that it took a while for lactation to be established.
Exactly. So
it will also take a while for the milk to dry up.
So you also need to be patient as well.
Yeah.
Patient. Also need to be patient. Make sure that you tell your child, let the child know that this is what we are doing, so that they are also prepared. Even if you think you don't understand, but they will start getting the message.
Yeah.
They will start getting the message, your body starts getting the message. And naturally, we're not supposed to feel any pain. If we gradually stop, we're not supposed to feel any pain at all. But if for any reason we have to abruptly stop, use the tips for engorgement to be able to relieve the pain. And enjoy breastfeeding, please. By all means, enjoy the process. It might feel like it's getting so long, you want your body back and all of that, but be patient and enjoy the process, because when it's done,
it's done,
and you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
So important thing for breastfeeding week for us, breastfeeding month is that breastfeed and encourage you to exclusively breastfeed your child for 6 months and start introducing food from your table, not necessarily cereal, food from your table to your child, because that's what they will eat for the rest of their life eventually. The normal days, they won't live on cereal for the rest of their life, so you need to introduce it early to them. And we have videos, plenty videos that we've done for this last 4 weeks. So check out those videos. We'll link all the resources that we've mentioned that can help you to breastfeed properly, to enjoy the process of breastfeeding. We'll list all those resources everywhere. And share this video to any intending mothers, new mothers,
pregnant women,
pregnant women,
grandmothers, so that they know the right thing and don't trouble their daughters and daughters-in-laws on wrong practices.
It's true. Share it with your mother, share it with your mother-in-law.
And then for me, on a final note, I just want to end by saying, if you can't exclusively breastfeed, please breastfeed for the duration that you can, or the for the frequency of times that you can in a day. The baby is better off having some breast milk than no breast milk at all. And please do not be discouraged. If you are unable to breastfeed your child for this time, for the next baby, you just may well be able. So don't be too hard on yourself. Even though we advocate that breast milk is the best meal for the baby, when you have to use other alternatives, please do it by all means. And then on a final note, please remember, whatever you eat or drink gets to the baby's milk, especially 2 hours after. So please be mindful of what you eat, no alcohol, And smoking is a no-no, no-no. And reduce your caffeine intake for people who love to drink coffees and then caffeinated teas. So let's remember, let's be healthy for ourselves and for our baby.
See you in our next Mom Chat.
Bye.